Valerie Mukherjee is running for Congress, an investment manager from the Chicago suburbs. She has never run for office before. She is part of a surge of Republican women across the country planning to run for the first time for everything from school board to Congress.
When I looked at our elected officials, I looked and I said, too many people look the same, and they don't have a background like mine or a voice like mine. So I think this is the time.
The disparity between Republican and Democratic women in office is stark. At the state level, twice as many Democrats as Republicans, and in Congress, just 21 Republican women in the House and Senate, compared with 106 Democrats. That may be about to change.
There were even fewer women in Congress than
Patty Russo has helped run the nonpartisan women's campaign school at Yale University for 20 years.
Are you expecting to see a wave of female Republican candidates in 2020?
We're already seeing it. We're seeing a lot of energy on the Republican side like never before.
Demand is so great that recently the Women's Campaign School held its first ever training specifically for Republican women, covering the basics of running for elected office, from fundraising to messaging.
They bought into the narrative that we're the party of angry anti-women, and it is just not true. We're the party of opportunity.
The women told us they were motivated by everything from the Kavanaugh hearings to the need for new policies on health care and immigration, and many worried the GOP was failing to appeal to critical female voters.
So many of us are Republicans in hiding.
That's a bold statement. You say Republican women have been in hiding. Why?
It's kind of hard to get behind sometimes with some of the stuff that's happening.
And I have found I've often had to say I'm socially moderate, fiscally conservative Republican.
Yeah, same.
Almost all of you. How would you define yourself, Laura?
I'm fiscal conservative, but I'm really pro-life.
And I think that's a good point because I think that there's room for all of that in the Republican Party. And what I'm finding is that there seems to be like a litmus test. If you don't pass these certain things, which don't even really match up, in my opinion, to what traditional Republican values are, then you're not considered a Republican anymore.
How will you answer questions about how President Trump has at times spoken about women?
You know, comments on things, it goes back to his tone or how he was raised or what his family. I don't judge people on that.
He has said some dumb things, and I'll say it just like that. If my 5-year-old and my 9-year-old can't be listening to the news because of comments that are being made, that should be an issue.
You call it is disparaging, but it's not going to dissuade me from running. There's more of a reason to show that there are women who will stand up and be in the Republican Party.
The disparity between Democratic women and Republican women in Congress, how does that hit you?
I think that what we saw in the 2018 elections was there was a lot of Republican women who didn't make it through the primaries. The Republican women just aren't getting the support that they need, training, financial support, all that kind of stuff. And the other thing that I'm running into is the committees are picking favorites before the primary.
And that was the message I was getting from a lot of consultants who said, you'll be seen as a troublemaker within the Republican Party if you don't succeed because you forced a primary when there wasn't the need for a primary.
Let me ask you broadly about some of the things that we've heard from some of your colleagues who want to run. They've been told we don't run women because we don't want to play identity politics.
As I heard that as well, it's disconcerting that the Republican Party sees women as an identity and not as just equals within the party that can run neck to neck.
I see it as an opportunity now going forward. We're bringing awareness to this. We're hopefully bringing more people out of the shadows.
I think there's a void, and we're here to help fill it. But I do hope that I can one day look down and see the Republican Party as diverse as the Democratic Party and still stand for the core Republican values.
And all of the women said they know they face an uphill climb, both within the party and among voters. In fact, since that interview, 2 of the women lost their Republican primaries. And guys, what struck me, this was a diverse group of women who had different reasons for wanting to get into the game of politics, but they knew very little about it. So they're really challenging themselves because they're that passionate about the issues.
Well, whatever your politics, it's good to see so many women wanting to get involved in the process and try to fix Washington.
Absolutely.